Is the RTX 4060 still a good graphics card to buy to play the latest AAA games at 1080p resolution in the last quarter of 2024? Let's find out. To test this, I paired the MSI Ventus 2X RTX 4060 with the Ryzen 5 7600X CPU as part of my Be Quiet PC build powered by MSI. If you're interested in any of the products featured in this video, you can find them on Amazon at the links in the description below. That includes the full list of PC parts needed to build this PC right here. Let's start with God of War Ragnarok. We are at native 1080p, DLAA enabled, and the graphics quality is set to Ultra preset, so that's absolutely maxed out graphics. This is not too bad, 50 plus FPS, 54, 55, 53 over here. Oh, but we do get dips below 50. Check it out, 48. If we look in this direction, 45, 44. This, I can't say that this is a great experience. Generally, I'd like to see at least 55 FPS in the worst case scenarios in this game, so we'll have to make some adjustments. First, let's try using DLSS resolution upscaling. Let's set it to quality and see how that will affect the performance. We are seeing a decent improvement. So from 40 plus FPS in this scene right here, we went to 50 plus FPS. That's 55, 54, 56. This is perfectly fine. And even during combat, the game feels great. Nice and smooth. No issues. As I said, if we are getting dips to around 55, the game still feels great. However, if you are using a large monitor like I am right here, this is a 32-inch monitor, obviously you are going to see quite a bit of difference if you are using DLSS quality compared to native 1080p. In my opinion, 1080p resolution is a little bit too low even for a 27-inch monitor. It gets a little bit grainy, so just be aware that finer details such as grass will not be sharp at all. You'll see quite a bad picture here. That's why I think it makes sense to keep that resolution at native 1080p, not using resolution upscaling at all, and just to lower graphics quality a little bit. Let's set it to high. Using this set of settings feels a little bit better in terms of finer details on the screen, such as grass. I can't say that it looks significantly better, but it is a level up from using DLSS quality. And the performance is still okay, as you can see. Still 55, 58 FPS. This is fine. Oh, some dips to 53 and 52, but the gameplay still feels smooth enough to enjoy it. And by the way, we are using just 6 GB of memory right now. That means that we do have extra room to use frame generation actually in this game. Let's turn it on. NVIDIA DLSS frame generation. Oh yes, this is nice. Check it out. 80 plus FPS. Not bad. FPS stays above 60 at all times, and there are no problems with controls latency. It feels absolutely beautiful because we had high base FPS before we enabled frame generation. Although I must say that I'm not a fan of frame generation in this particular game. It doesn't look as good and it doesn't feel as good as in some other games, because you see when I pan the camera, you can see inconsistencies in frame rate right there. Those spikes, yeah, it just proves that the image is not as smooth, and I can actually feel those differences when I look at the monitor right here. Also, in terms of image quality, at least at 1080p, frame generation introduces some less than ideal artifacting. Let me show you by bringing the camera closer to Kratos's bald head. Just look at the edges of his head. As I move the camera, hopefully you can notice it on camera, but with my own two eyes looking at the monitor, I can see how time and space is bending on the edges of his head, simply because, yeah, frame generation cannot reconstruct the image quickly enough. And that results in a warped world around Kratos' head. I don't think it's worth playing this game with those kind of visual issues around the character, because he's always in front of you, in front of your eyes. That is one thing that you are kind of focused on. And it's not just around his head, it's just around the entire body. So yeah, that is not nice. That's why I think that we should keep frame generation disabled. And if we want better performance, then we can lower that graphics quality to medium. This way there are no visual issues and no performance issues. Take a look at that. I'm panning the camera sporadically and the image is still smooth. The performance is also good. Take a look at this. 60 plus FPS. No dips below 60 so far. 62 was the lowest number I've seen. This feels good, and the game still looks fine on medium graphics quality preset. Black Myth Wukong is a notoriously GPU demanding title, so let's see if the RTX 4060 can handle it. Let's start at native 1080p resolution using very high graphics quality preset. And here's the proof that this game is very GPU demanding. Take a look at that, 39 FPS. Yeah, in other scenes we're getting 40 plus, but I don't consider this a good experience in this particular game. I'd like to see FPS close to 60 or even above that. Let's see if DLSS can help us achieve that target. We'll set resolution to 68%. That equals to DLSS quality mode. The performance has somewhat improved. We're now getting close to 50 FPS, but again, using DLSS at 1080p is not something that I like doing, especially in this particular game, because here we have a character that has fur and it looks pixelated as heck when using DLSS quality. So yeah, you are going to notice the image degradation with DLSS right away. And we're still not close to that 60 FPS experience target. What I would do is set the resolution back to native 1080p and lower graphics quality. Let's see if setting it to high is enough. And it's close. Take a look at this. We're getting 50 plus FPS, 56, 57. This might work. Let's see how it feels during a fight. Yeah, feels pretty good. I think this might be it. This might be the set of settings that I would use to play this game. Let's kick this guy's ass. Boom, almost done. Yeah, definitely, this is it. This feels pleasant. And because we're only using 6.4 gigabytes of memory, we can actually try using frame generation because it will work just fine. We have enough memory to spare. So let's enable frame generation and see what that experience is like. And in contrast to God of War, frame generation in this game actually feels good. Yeah. I can't spot any major visual issues. And we're still getting some of that instability in frame pacing, but it is not nearly as bad as in God of War. I'm actually quite enjoying frame generation in this game because of extra image fluidity that it offers. Take a look at that. It's 90 plus FPS right now, 95. And if you have a high refresh rate monitor, you will definitely notice the difference. And even looking at smaller particles, such as these falling leaves, there are no ghosting trails that I can see with my eyes. This effect looks normal and actually quite impressive. Let's try another set of settings. Let's disable frame generation and lower graphics quality to medium. This results in higher FPS even without using frame generation. Check it out. 70 plus FPS right here. The image fluidity is nice, but we can improve it even more with frame generation. Let's enable it once more. Oh, and take a look at that. 100 plus FPS, 118, 109, 105 over here. Haha, yeah, this feels good. Let's fight this guy again. Immobilize and kick his ass. Boom. This feels good. However, I think it is better to use high graphics quality preset with frame generation enabled. That felt better to me because I like pretty graphics. But if you're focused on getting the best performance, then this is the way to go. Medium preset, frame generation enabled, 100 plus FPS. Next up is Space Marine 2. We are at native 1080p resolution using high graphics quality preset. If you're thinking about using ultra graphics quality preset, then unfortunately the game says that, oops, the 8GB memory buffer that you have on the RTX 4060 is simply not enough video memory. Let's take that advice and keep graphics quality preset on high. We are observing 60 plus FPS in the starting area, which gives me a lot of hope that we will actually have a good time even when we enter combat. We are planetside now, and we're still getting above 60 FPS, sometimes reaching 70. This is a perfectly playable and pleasant experience, although there are dips to around 55, 56 from time to time. It still feels great. If you'd like to see better performance, then you could use DLSS set to quality mode. That increases FPS to 80 plus in this particular area. Of course, we've lost some of that image quality in finer details, such as grass and leaves, but the FPS is high. And even during combat, we are not getting dips below 60 anymore. I think I've seen 65, which was the lowest one there. But in other scenes, look at that. We're getting 90 plus. What? 80 plus. Nice. I think that purely because of how this game is, in terms of gameplay, you're just engaged in combat most of the time. I think I don't mind using DLSS quality that much because it simply results in better performance, which is quite important in this game for me. But if you're not a fan of losing image quality, then we could go another way about it. Let's set resolution back to native and lower the graphics quality to medium. This way we can still enjoy native resolution quality image at 1080p and have slightly higher FPS. Oh, look at that. That's a lot of enemies. But we are tough. We can handle it. However, FPS, I've seen 54, 55, 53 just now. Yeah. The performance is taking a hit. Oh, 51 FPS. The gameplay still feels fine, but I think I prefer using high graphics quality preset and DLSS set to quality. Let's change it real quick to see how it performs in this particular scene, because we've reached quite a demanding area. So high graphics quality preset and DLSS set to quality. And the performance is okay. Take a look at that. We're still getting 60 plus FPS even though there's so many enemies around us. Yeah, this is not bad actually. This is quite enjoyable. I think this is the way to go if you're playing this game. Using the RTX 4060, I would pick this set of settings. Obviously, you can use optimized settings if you want to mess around with that, but even using high graphics quality preset feels good. In conclusion, the RTX 4060 is still a good graphics card for 1080p gaming in the latest games. However, forget about using the highest graphics quality presets. At the end of 2024, the RTX 4060 is not strong enough for that anymore. For that you'll have to get the 4060 Ti. But even then, I don't think that playing your games at 1080p resolution is a great thing to do in 2024. As we've seen in my previous videos, I've tested 1440p as well as 4K resolution using the RTX 4060. The 4060 provides a much better experience on a 4K monitor using DLSS resolution upscaling. Honestly, compared to 1080p, that is like night and day difference. I highly recommend you upgrade your monitor. And 4K experience doesn't have to be expensive either, because for example, this MSI G321CU 4K 32 inches 144 Hz monitor usually goes on sale, and it can be had for around $400. If you want to see what that 4K experience is like using the RTX 4060, I'll leave a link to the video in the description below. If you're interested in any of the products featured in this video, you can find them on Amazon at the links in the description below. That includes the full list of PC parts needed to build this PC right here. Let me know in the comments what do you think about this setup. And if you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to reward it with a like and subscribe for more if you haven't already. It was I, Vadim. Until next time.